Thursday breakfast on Source FM with Benjamin Makin.
Thank you very much indeed for tuning into Source FM this morning and catching me, Ben, on your Thursday morning breakfast show. As always, this show is brought to you by the University of Exeter, and I'm absolutely delighted to have you with us. Now, today, got a bunch of very special guests on the show, and as always, of course, I'm going to play your tune requests, so just get them to me, okay? Yeah, I'm happy to play them, all right? You know, I started this morning with a bit of a daft playlist. I must apologise for that, actually, but, you know, that is what's going to happen if you don't send me any more song requests. Luckily, a lot of the special guests today have given me requests, so we'll be okay. But if you want a particular song, get it to me. So coming on the show today, I am delighted to announce that we have two fantastic sporting legends on the show with us, actually. We've got Colin Jackson Cbe, of course, hurdles master. I'm just going to call him the hurdles master. It's probably easier, isn't it, than talking about his numerous awards and things. Olympian as well, of course. I'm sure you're all familiar with Colin. He's an absolutely fantastic chap. He's on the show. He's got a cracking song choice as well. I kind of did choose it for him, but he did agree with the song that I've chosen for him, so I think that's okay. We've also got Dion Dublin, of course, fantastic, famous footballer. I'm delighted to have Dion on the show with us. Now, recently, actually, he's become a TV presenter. I don't know if you're aware of this. You might have caught the programme already, Homes Under the Hammer. So he's actually got his property development hat on today. He's talking about botched jobs when it comes to electrics. He's actually on this campaign to try and stop people attempting to do electrics themselves, basically. So we'll be chatting to Dion. We're chatting a little bit about his background as well. He's a Leicester boy. I was delighted to kind of find that out, actually, because he actually lived in Leicester originally when he was a young lad. So we're chatting about that as well. So I'm going to give a cheeky shout out to my brother James as well, of course, because bigging up the Leicester uni scene, as he probably wouldn't use the word scene. He'd say something like that. He'd probably say big up Mandem or something. I don't know. We'll see. We've also got absolutely delighted to invite as well Dr. Lauren Brent. Dr. Brent is absolutely fantastic. She works on she's going to be talking to us today, actually, about the science of friendships. So if that doesn't sound interesting, I don't know what does, to be honest. That's fantastic. She works with primates. And she essentially works in this field. It's a bit like the psychology of animals, really. And she's interested in the kind of evolutionary biology behind the cognitive abilities of primates, essentially, and humans as well. So this is absolutely fantastic. I thought, it's going to be so silly if I don't manage to force Lauren onto the show. But luckily, I did. She agreed to come on. She's actually from the campus in Exeter Uni, Lauren is. So she visited us very recently in Cornwall, and I caught her over some coffees, so that's fantastic. We will get Lauren on the show from about probably 8:30 this morning. Now, we also have, we'll see how much of this we can fit in, okay, because Lauren's going to have to be on the show for sure. So is Colin Jackson and Dion, so they'll be on. We also have, now this is fantastic, I'm really, really pleased to have chatted to Richard Watcham. Richard is the Director of Commissioning at UKTV. So he's basically the chap behind, agreeing or at least working to get a bunch of shows on air, basically, on UKTV. And you're probably familiar with at least a few of those. We're chatting about Taskmaster today. But, you're probably familiar with the channel Dave, for instance. There's a bunch of different channels. Talking more about that later with Richard. And actually, you know what? I pitch him an idea for a TV show live on air. So should we see how that goes? I think it's going to go really, really well. I've got high hopes for that. So we'll see. Again, he's got a cracking song request for us. Yeah, we'll be good. And finally, we have the fantastic and devilishly handsome android. Yep, I'm talking about Robert Llewellyn. He's actually a actor in the well-known Red Dwarf TV series. I'm sure you've heard of that before. He's actually talking today. So he's actually, I don't know if you knew this, but he's actually a real electric car man. He knows everything there is to know about electric cars. He actually runs this series on YouTube that you can check out called Fully Charged in collaboration with Smart Energy GB. So today he's actually talking on behalf of Smart Energy GB with a representative, Robert Cheesewright from Smart Energy, talking about electric cars and smart meters. So this should be pretty interesting, I think. And I hope you enjoy this show, guys. Most importantly, though, as I said, first of all, if you want to get a song to me, I will happily play it for you. Now, just before I continue, I'm actually going to kick off with a bit of a song request this morning. And this is actually a song request that I've just decided is going to be for this person. This one goes out to John Aspinall in Derby. Now, I've got to have to play this song, actually, John. We were chatting about these guys the other day. Absolutely fabulous band. John's a big fan. He's been to see them live a couple of times. Let's just get this on for you, and then we will continue with the show. I think first up this morning, what do you think? Dion? Should we get Dion on? I reckon we should. And then after that, Colin Jackson? Yeah? All right. If you think of anything you want me to play, give me a text, 07860 670 917, and I will pick up your text whilst I'm presenting, and I'll get on any song that you want. But for now, I'm going to get this one on for John Aspinall in Derby. Enjoy. All right, it is time to welcome the fantastic Dion Dublin to the show.
Thursday breakfast on Source FM.
Hi, Dion. Can you hear me okay there?
Hello, Ben. How you doing, pal?
Yeah, very well, thanks. Well, thanks very much for chatting today. Really appreciate this.
That's okay, mate. No problem at all.
This is great. Dion, just first of all, am I right in thinking that you, because you're actually from Leicester originally, weren't you? And I know you
I'm a Leicester boy, yes.
Yeah, you did a stint
for Leicester. There's a lady in the gallery
City
as well. She's from Leicester as well. She's a lady.
What do you think of the Leicester win anyway? They're winning the league last season. That was great, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's one of those things that happens in football, but it was a rare one. I didn't think it would happen. You know, if you put money on it, well done.
Yes.
I wish I had done, but it's strange that Leicester went all the way and they hung in there for so long.
Yes.
In order to get over the line. It's an amazing achievement.
Yeah.
And then he gets packed.
Yeah, well, that's it. I mean, my I wasn't there at the time actually, but my brother James goes to uni in Leicester, and he said the feeling in the city when it was kind of obvious that they'd won. I bet it was amazing. He was saying everyone just partying on the streets and all the players out in town.
My family is still in Leicester.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So they must have.
Yeah, and it was just the city was bouncing for weeks and weeks and weeks. There was concerts. Victoria Park had a concert, and all the Leicester bands played there. So yeah, it was a hell of an achievement for Mr. Ranieri and the players.
So good. I could talk about that for longer, but let's probably better move on and go back to the topic then. I mean, basically, you've got a warning, right, about DIY and blokes having a go at themselves. And this sounds so typical, doesn't it? This has got to be one of those things which everyone kind of, it's that kind of running joke, isn't it? That blokes just never want to ask for help and just think they can do everything themselves.
Yeah, it is a running joke, but it's not a joke.
Yes,
It can be a serious mistake to joke about it. It's total bravado. It's the man that doesn't want to ask for help when doing electrics in the house. I can do that. It's fine. It's not a problem. Yeah. If I get it wrong, it'll be all right. It'll be fine. Nothing's going to happen. But you just cannot take the risk.
Yes,
there's so many stats that have been that have reared their head. 89% of British men won't ask for help. It's just embarrassing.
Yes.
Lads, come on.
Yes.
Help yourself, help your family, and help your pocket by getting it done. Get it done once and get it done right.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think it's as you say, I suppose there is that kind of immediate kind of, typical kind of response. But as you say, actually, if it's something like electrics, you can't really mess around with that, can you? I mean, if it goes wrong, there's going to be serious repercussions, right?
Well, there is, yeah. It's electrics, gas and water. But
yes.
we're chatting electrics today, and if there's if there's anybody out there that just wants to know just a little bit more, and I want to get the website out because it's important that people know that they can find out about everything they need to know at niceic.com /ban the bravado.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose it's one of those typical things, isn't it? I mean, actually, if you allow me to kind of go a bit further now, and a kind of maybe
I'll allow you. Go on.
Yeah, excellent. I mean, maybe I'm being a bit silly, but I'm just thinking about this whole kind of, especially because Mental Health Awareness Week has just been, and kind of one of the main topics that we talk about so much is the fact that, and I think particularly we're going to talk about just chaps for a second. There does seem to be that kind of bottle it all up kind of attitude, and I mean I know this is possibly going a bit far, but what I mean is it kind of to me it kind of sounds like it all plays into that, like a man sees himself as having to be independent, and as you say, ban the bravado and all this. I mean, it kind of sounds like a man just feels like he's supposed to do it all, including things like which actually can lead to danger, right? You're saying like things in the house, like focusing on electrics today.
A lot of men find it a sign of weakness,
yes.
To ask for help. 18% say asking for help is embarrassing. Now, what's more embarrassing? What's more dangerous than trying to do it yourself, getting it wrong, and putting your family in danger? You just can't do it.
Yes.
It's not embarrassing. You're more of a man if you're asking for help. You're more of a man if you say, "Listen, I can't do this. I'm going to get the pros in to do it. It just makes sense. Don't risk your life or your family's life.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, in your work, if you don't mind me asking about this, Dion, in your work, kind of obviously presenting on Homes Under the Hammer and things, I was just wondering actually whether this kind of thing ever comes up. I mean, do you ever find people that are tempted to, I don't know, try and get away with just doing it themselves? I mean, I can imagine you just end up with botched jobs if you're doing things like that.
No, you do. Listen, on the show, I come across the ones that do it right, the ones that want to do it right, and the ones that get it wrong.
Yes.
So I cover all areas of all kinds of people, all kinds of developers. But the majority of them want to do it right, do it right, spend the right money in order to get it right. And if they are doing something which I think could be dangerous, I'll always tell them.
Yes.
Especially with a subject like this one, and it's too important. You know, on average, when a man does a job in the house, on average it costs £1,100 to fix it.
Yes.
That could be £1,100 in your pocket.
Gosh, yes, yeah. Not only is it a risk, as you started by saying, it's actually not really something to joke about. There is a real health risk with it, but also, as you're saying, there's kind of going to hit your pocket too, right?
Yeah, it's not. It's an issue that you can't really laugh about it anymore because something's going to happen, something's going to go wrong. I hope to God it doesn't. But
yeah.
If we keep tampering with electrics without knowing what you're doing, and you're not a pro, something's going to happen. Let's stop that something happening before it happens, and just pick up the phone, go to the website again.
Yeah.
What did you say? You didn't hear the website the first time? Well, I'm going to give it you again.
I didn't hear it. What was it?
NICEIC.com/ban the bravado. Get on it. You'll find out everything you need to know and where to get the best sparkies that you need to do that job that you shouldn't really be tampering with.
Nice. Well, Dion, thanks so much. I appreciate your time this morning. I'll just double check actually. Please, if there's anything else that you'd like to say, then do go ahead.
No, we're all good. Thank you very much. I appreciate your time as well.
Nice, yeah, no, thanks. So one last thing then before I let you go, and that is for something a bit different now, just a song request actually. Don't know if you've got any favourite songs I can play for you. I'd love to.
Song request?
Yeah.
That's a very good question.
Anything at all.
I would like you to play Stevie Wonder.
Oh, yes.
Gotta Get You Into My Life, I think it's called.
Oh, yes.
What Into My Life. What a tune that is, by the way.
Yeah.
No, it's not Stevie Wonder. I'm going to rephrase that. It's not Stevie Wonder. It's Earth, Wind and Fire.
Right, okay. Epic. Yeah, I shall get that on for you. Thank you very much,
Hang on for me, please. I'd love that.
Yeah, I should definitely get that on. Dion, thanks so much. Cheers, man.
Appreciate your help.
Got to get you into my life. No, I probably shouldn't do that. Dion won't be happy with that. Well, that was a fantastic choice, that wasn't it? That's great. I'm going to have to own up. I hadn't actually heard that one before, but yeah, that is pretty awesome. Obviously, had to act like I knew exactly what he was talking about when he requested it. Anyway, yeah, that's fantastic. Dion, thanks so much for chatting to us today. Coming up next, then, I think I'm actually going to turn to Richard Watcham now. Richard. He's the Director of Commissioning at UKTV, as I was saying at the beginning of the show. So if you've just tuned in, this is absolutely brilliant. Now, I'm going to tell you something. I'm going to pitch him an idea live on air, an idea for a TV show. He's basically the guy in charge of deciding whether these ideas get the green light. He's commissioned a bunch of really, really awesome shows. You might have come across the show Taskmaster, which is doing really well at the moment, a comedy show on UKTV. You're probably familiar with the channel Dave and numerous other channels. Richard will be explaining all of this just in a second. But yeah, let's get him on, shall we? And let's see what he thinks of my TV show idea. I think I'm in for a great chance. What do you think? Yeah, no response. Yeah, okay. Well, let's see how it goes, shall we? We'll just see.
I'm Richard Watcham. I'm the Director of Commissioning at UKTV, which is a broadcaster that has a bundle of different channels: Dave, Gold, W, Alibi, Drama, Yesterday. And I look after all of the original programmes that we show on the network.
Brilliant. I tell you what, Richard, it straight away sounds like it must be a really, really exciting role that you've got, actually, because I bet it's just great seeing these kind of new ideas actually make it to screen.
There's something really enjoyable about taking an idea from a piece of paper, because quite often when they come into us, it's literally just a side of A4.
Yeah, sure.
And taking it from that stage where someone comes in and, with one bit of paper and then turning it into a telly show maybe a year later and seeing it go out, it's a proper privilege. It's a good job. I quite enjoy it.
Yeah, well, I mean, it sounds absolutely brilliant, and UKTV seems to be doing really, really well in terms of its original content as well, doesn't it? I mean, I know Taskmaster, for instance, is in the middle of another series, which is awesome. And you've just got a whole bunch of them which are doing really well, haven't you?
Yeah, so Taskmaster's doing really well, thank you. Yeah, we just had a BAFTA nomination for the second year in a row. Fantastic. Just the other day. Unfortunately, we didn't win, but we're going to be back next year, I hope.
Yes.
And that show's doing really well. We've got another one. So Taskmaster goes out 9 o'clock on Wednesday, 10 o'clock, so it's the hour straight afterwards. We've got a brand new show called John Richardson Ultimate Warrior, which is doing really well as well. So there's lots of good launches at the moment. Yeah,
lovely. Exciting time, really. So not only an exciting role, but possibly a particularly exciting time for you as well. So fantastic. Yeah. And I tell you what, looking at this, this research that I've got in front of me here, actually, and this this is great. Actually, it just looks like so many people here in Britain are just kind of sitting there thinking, "I've got a great idea for TV." Actually.
I think it's one of the things. Whenever I meet new people, particularly if you go to a friend's for a party or for dinner or whatever, people there will say, I've got an idea. Have you heard this idea?" Oh, I tell you what, and it happened today on the way to the studio here to make sure I got here on time. I got a rare taxi, and sure enough, I was in the back of the cab for about 5 minutes. Yeah. And the guy pitched me an idea, and I quite enjoy it. And I think what's really nice is that the audience are really engaged with the medium. So if people didn't have ideas, I think, I reckon it's probably the same with movies and books as well, right? I think it's good that people care that much. Yes,
no, exactly. I think kind of, especially I think today, there's so many ways to access your favourite show, isn't there? I mean, long gone are the days when you just had to sit in front of a TV and just watch whatever was scheduled for you that particular day. I mean, now you can get stuff on demand. I think I suppose the access has fed into that a bit. I don't know whether you would, I don't know whether you'd agree with that, but I suppose to me it seems like there's just instant access to just all kinds of series.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think, if I think back to my time as a kid, watching telly was generally something we did with my mum and dad, in an early evening, where it was quite a formal thing,
Yes,
we've got a VOD player, a bit like iPlayer. Ours is called UKTV Play, and if you've got a mobile or a laptop, you can download the app to your mobile. You can be watching our Dave shows like Taskmaster and John Richardson anywhere, and I think that plus the fact that there's a lot of different channels out, there's a lot of competition out there. I mean, there's just so much more telly.
Yes.
In the olden days, telly was a bit like theatre. You'd sit as a family and you'd watch a big entertainment show. Now you're watching that show, maybe even walking along the pavement.
Exactly.
So I think people's ideas are just kind of sparked off by lots of other stuff they see around them. It's just feels a much kind of freer medium than it used to, and I think that's quite exciting.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll tell you what, I'm going to have to own up straight away, actually. One of my favourite activities of all time, actually, is this term binge watching a show, which is flying around recently. But I just love doing that, just sitting down and just going crazy, watching about 1 million episodes and just thinking, what did I just do? But it was fun. I'm going to do it again.
Yeah, I think we've all done that, where you get to kind of, it's like 11, you're thinking,
that's it.
Crazy to start another episode now, but we could start one and we could get a better little bit,
At least see the intro bit, and then you end up watching about 10 more, and then
exactly.
Your night's gone. Love doing it though. And so coming back to the kind of all the ideas front, really. I mean, I found this quite amusing, actually. So you were kind of looking at in this survey that I got in front of me here. Lots of people, probably yourself, as you were saying, you get pitched ideas all the time, but it sounds like people are often pitching their ideas to their friends, and in particular, I find this quite amusing, to their pets as well.
Yeah, so we surveyed about 1,000 people, and we found about a third of them had pitched ideas for TV shows to someone, to friends or family, basically. I'm actually surprised it's not more than that, because I think everyone's got a kind of TV show in their minds.
That's everyone who owned up about it.
Yeah, well, that's true. We also found that 5% of people, so about 1 in 20 people, had actually pitched an idea to their pet, which seems quite strange. But then we have a show that is filming currently, which will be going out on our pay channel, W, called Inside the Vets.
Oh, right.
And I kind of think, I think actually maybe that's the origin of that show before it came to us. Maybe someone tried it out on a few pets just to see if it was any good, and they obviously thought it was.
Oh, that's all right. Yeah, I'll send that straight to Richard then, if you like it. Richard, I'm sorry to do this to you, but can I prove the point by pitching an idea to you right now?
Please do. I'd love to hear it.
Well, I'm going to have to say something a little bit controversial to start with, because even though I'm supposed to be a student of science, I just find nature programs a bit dull. I'm not really keen on them.
Yeah.
So what I'd really like to see is a sort of nature program gone disastrously wrong. So the presenter, for example, could do such things as, he could be talking about this critically endangered butterfly as he strolls through this beautiful woodland, and then accidentally stepping on one of the last surviving members of that species or something. I think it'd be brilliant. Something like that, or even worse, if you'll allow me to get a bit darker, he could accidentally start a bushfire or something like that. I just think it'd be great.
Destructive television. It sounds like a scripted comedy. We do quite a few scripted comedies on Dave. Shows like Red Dwarf and Zapped and Porters. That sounds like the kind of thing you could turn into a good scripted comedy.
Oh, nice.
Now we've got a new. It's not exactly a nature program. It's more of an adventure travel program, which we are shooting at the moment. Which I hope would restore your faith in those kind of shows.
Oh,
it's called
good.
Expedition with Steve Backdaw, and he's got 10 different expeditions to different places on the planet which have never been seen or explored, or no one's ever stood. So it's that idea that the globe. We all think that everywhere has been seen, right? Everywhere has been explored. Yeah. And actually, there's a significant amount of the globe, large numbers of places, flooded cave systems in Mexico, unclimbed peaks in Bhutan that have never been seen or witnessed.
Yes.
And or maybe even no light has ever shone on. So he's going to go and do that over the next year. He's filming that, and each one of those is a kind of extraordinary journey to this incredibly remote part of the world to uncover what's there. Check that out. Hopefully it might restore your faith. Hopefully you won't kill any butterflies along the way.
No, hopefully not. I've discarded the idea now. You might have restored my faith a little bit. I'll watch that, and then that idea can just be shoved under the carpet for now. Yeah, well, it's all sounding great, Richard. I mean, thanks so much for chatting to us today. And I suppose, of course I am wary that shouldn't keep you for too long today, but I just guess, I'd really like to, first of all, ask if you would advise any of our listeners to check out particular places. I suppose you mentioned that you can catch all of the UKTV's channels on there on an app, basically. So for any kind of smart devices and stuff, which I think that's awesome. If we could perhaps remind people about that. But also, I guess if anyone wanted to have a bit of a laugh and look up some of the data, I don't know whether you've got that available for people to check out. The survey.
Well, I think the data will be available from the survey that we did. It's available on our website, uktv.co.uk, and certainly you can check out any of our Freeview channels. So that's Dave and Drama and Yesterday and Really on UKTV Play. So you could literally go there right now and start watching Taskmaster or any of the other new shows we've got on Dave.
Yes, excellent.
And then of course you can also see the pay channels through Sky and Virgin, and there's a lot of different ways to see it all. We also these days put a few more clips up on YouTube. So if you just want to sample one of the shows and kind of find out a little bit more about them, you can go to YouTube and if you type in UKTV or you type in Dave or Taskmaster, it'll come up with a bundle of clips that will give you a bit more of an idea about what we're on about.
Great. Well, thanks. You know what? I sense a Taskmaster binge-watching session coming on very rapidly, actually. And one very quick thing for you, Richard, before I let you go. And, of course, if there's anything that you'd like to quickly add, please do. Sure. Please feel most welcome. But I'd really like to give you a song request. Don't know if you have a favourite song that I could possibly play for you today. I know that's a bit different, not really anything to do with what we've been chatting about, but I'd love to play you a song. Do you have one?
That's a good question. I tell you what, I'm quite enjoying Georgia Smith at the moment.
Oh yes.
Why don't you put on a song from her? Is that all right?
Of course it is. Yeah, no, I'll be pleased.
I'll tell you what, actually, Georgia Smith's Blue Lights in honour of some of the blue light programming that we make at UKTV.
Oh, fantastic!
That's our kind of cop shows, our fire service shows. In honour of them, let's have Blue Lights by Georgia Smith.
That's a cracking choice. Great idea. Thanks, Richard. Appreciate your time. Thank you. Okay, coming up next then, we have the fantastic Colin Jackson Cbe. I can't forget that bit, can we? Really, can we? Alongside today, actually, pharmacist Mac Din. Now, Colin, I don't know if you knew this, actually, but he was originally... I'm not going to reveal too much. Take the thunder out of Colin's story a little bit here. I'm not going to do that. But, originally, actually, he would have gone down the line of cricket had it not been, in his own words, for crippling hay fever. So yeah, if you're out there thinking, oh no, I'm sniffling away, this is rubbish, hay fever, then, even if a great man such as Colin Jackson, he even suffers from hay fever, so you're not alone. You're certainly not alone. So anyway, should we get them both on to chat to us a little bit today? I think so. Hope you enjoy this. They've got a cracking song request, and actually I've just received another absolutely brilliant song request as well, actually, from one very good friend of mine, Mr. Matt Raybold. So Matt, your song's going to be on very shortly as well. But for now, please welcome to the show, Colin Jackson.
I'm Colin Jackson, former world champion for a very strange event called the 110-metre hurdle. Been world record holder of a couple of versions of that event. Still the world record holder of the 60-metre hurdles, and unfortunately for me, a massive hay fever sufferer.
Hello Ben, I'm Matt Ben. I'm a pharmacist, been a pharmacist for a good 12 years now. And I'm here to actually give some top tips around hay fever.
Fantastic, brilliant. Well, thank you very much, gents. Absolute pleasure to have you today. And I'll start with you, Colin, if that's okay, with a couple of questions for you today. And actually, wondering about coming back to your point there at the beginning about your hay fever, because of course, everyone will be very familiar with your achievements in the sporting world, of course, and indeed on the TV as well. But I suppose it could have been quite different, actually.
Yeah, I mean, I suffered very much when I was a kid from hay fever, and I suffered from really the biggest effects is tree pollen. So this time of the year, from the beginning, mid-April to the end of May, is really when I suffer a lot, and that's scratchy eyes, sore throats a little bit, sneezing. Those are the big problems that I suffered with. And back when I was a teenager, I was a good cricketer, and cricket was my first love as a sport. And I wanted to play cricket, but I could not bear the pain that I was going through trying to play the game of cricket in beautiful locations, as you imagine, fields, but there was a problem. There was trees always around them. Yeah. So in the end, I kind of quitted one sport and said, you know what, let me go to a little bit more of an urban sport, which was athletics in that sense. Of course. Where there was only a tiny bit of green, and the rest were all constructions around you, concrete buildings everywhere else. And I suffered far less from hay fever then, so that was a switch.
But I think, you know what, Colin, if you had have chosen to stay, if they'd have known what kind of athlete that they were missing in cricket, I think they would have just taped over all of the green in every on every course just to have you.
No, I wouldn't have expected them to do that for me. I tell you what, I enjoyed it, but it was a real problem, and you can imagine when you're suffering from what I kind of tell people they're like cold-like symptoms in the middle of the summer. It's quite intrusive in your general everyday life. And certainly when I was studying, going to do, all my schoolwork, my exams, my O-levels back in the day then, to be not having a good night's sleep because your eyes were itching, or you were suffering with that sore throat, or you were sneezing all the time, it really is very intrusive. And I don't, we laugh and joke about it, but when you suffer from it, then it's not at all funny. Yeah,
I was going to say that actually because I myself have been very lucky and I don't actually suffer from it. But I was thinking actually I probably shouldn't say that because I bet that just winds people up so much. As no, I don't suffer from that. No, I'm fine. Yeah. I bet that's so annoying hearing that all the time. But yeah, as you say, it doesn't sound good.
It's not, and even now as a broadcaster, I have to make sure. Who wants to see somebody on the TV with streaming red eyes, right? So it's not an attractive look. So you've got to make sure that you look after yourself, and you've got to be really switched on in exactly what you want to do and how you're going to get treated. Now I certainly take a nasal spray, and I take some eye drops, and that seems to just maintain everything. So for me, that's why I'm really, really lucky in that aspect. And I've got Matt sitting next to me who's smiling, and the whole thing that has been pulled together, the statistics I think that are pretty amazing as the pharmacists have pulled together for people just to have a look at and to truly appreciate what it's like for people like me who suffer and the amount of people.
Yeah, that's a good point actually, because of course if it's still something that's bothering you, of course it's given your career, as you were saying, it's important not to let the symptoms get the best of you, I suppose. So, and if you're saying there are things that people can actually do about it, then that's extremely handy. So I'll turn to you, Mac, for a second, if that's right. Thanks very much indeed, Colin. But yeah, I mean, Mac, it's great that we've got a pharmacist on the show with us, basically, just to hopefully, point maybe listeners in the direction of a couple of things that they could think about, because I'm sure there are tons of people out there who might be listening to this thinking, oh yeah, no, I totally understand that. I've got my eyes are bothering me right this instant, sort of thing. So I wonder if there's any advice that you could give just straight off the bat.
Certainly, then. I think most importantly, you need to live your life and continue to go outdoors, and staying cooped inside is not the right thing to do. So I think most importantly, speak to your local pharmacist, and what they can do is manage your symptoms for you. They'll understand exactly what your symptoms are. The other important thing is that using multiple treatments, such as Colin's already mentioned, eye drops, nasal sprays, hay fever tablets, a multiple treatment does actually help.
Yes.
And it's sometimes trial and error as well, trying to find the best treatment that actually works for you.
Sure.
What you find out is patients come back to the pharmacy, say they've tried something, and then try another product, and that is the right fit for them. Another point to mention is wearing wraparound sunglasses. Protect your eyes if you're going outside. We've got opticians, so we're able to provide you prescription sunglasses or normal sunglasses, and that will help protect your eyes against pollen.
Yes.
Another point to mention is asthma sufferers. 80% of asthma sufferers also suffer from hay fever. So, and hay fever can actually make the condition a lot worse for asthma sufferers. So it's really important that you manage your asthma really, really well, and our pharmacists can actually help you with that. A point to mention is, and my final point is, shower and change your clothes after you've been outside, so that you can actually wash off the pollen.
Yes, that's a very good point, actually. I bet that's something which not a lot of people will think about doing as well. So that's good. That's good you mentioned that. So it kind of sounds then like first thing to do really is just pop in to see your pharmacist and maybe just try assaulting it from all fronts, really, like lots of different types, I suppose, just to find what's best for you. Actually, I've got a little story, actually, because it was only last night, actually, that we popped out. We popped out to have a drink out in the garden. But my dad, the sun had long gone in, but for some reason my dad came out in his Ray-Bans, which only make an appearance when I think he's trying to look really, really cool. And basically, this was clearly that time. And I thought, oh, Dad, you're right, it's not very sunny out here. And then he revealed, actually, that his eye had unfortunately got quite swollen because of the pollen, because he really suffers from hay fever. So, I was just thinking, oh, well, if only I'd had this interview a bit earlier, I would have been able to tell him lots of advice.
Yeah, and I think for me, one of the things, sorry, Mac, I know you're just a speaker, but I think one of the things I would say to people is like, don't clog at the GP when you're suffering from hay fever.
Yes.
Because you know what you've got. Just go down to the pharmacy and ask them. They're very highly trained people.
Yes.
And they'll be able to spend far more time explaining things to you than your GP would be able to. So, use them as much as you possibly can. And I've been lucky enough, I've found what works for me now, and it really keeps my symptoms down to a real minimum, which allows me to just crack on with a normal life.
Thank you very much to both of you for your time so far. I really appreciate you coming on the show to chat to us. And I think, actually, if you don't mind, just so I can let you go shortly, I'll just ask if we can... point listeners in the direction maybe of, you were saying, of course, you can always just pop in and see your pharmacist, of course, but I was wondering if there's any particular websites that you might encourage listeners to go to, or anything like that, or any kind of final points that you'd like to throw out there now.
Yeah, Ben. So they visit www.asda.com and search for their nearest Asda pharmacy. Then their pharmacists are more than happy to actually help you. What you find out is our pharmacy are actually open 7 days a week, late in the evenings. So we're very accessible, more than the GPs are.
Yes.
And it's free parking as well. So to be honest, what you find is you're not going to have problems accessing the pharmacy. There's always a pharmacy within 15 minutes of where you're living.
I think you've got everyone on the free parking, actually, Mac, to be honest.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Now, just to finish up then, I'd absolutely love it if I could give you both a song request for the day. Now, Colin, I actually found out a really, really cool fact about you. I hope you don't mind me saying this, but this is absolutely awesome. So apparently, an English reggae band in 1994, there was a hit called Shine. They mention you on this song. How cool is that? The lyrics go like this, just in case you haven't heard this. Him a-floating like a butterfly, the hurdling man. Yes, me chat about Colin Jackson. How cool is that?
There you go. As one, did me very proud.
That was your primary moment. You know, forget all the medals and the winning and the champion.
Oh, forget those, yeah. I'll take the name check and the song is always better.
So, can I interest you both in a song at all? Do you have any favourite songs I can play for you?
Listen, for me, you can happily play Shine.
Yes, there we go.
Look it up, Aswad, Shine, check it in. This time of the year as well, you need to shine like the star you always want to be.
And I've not heard of Shine, so I'm looking forward to listening to that.
Fantastic. Well, thanks so much, gents. Really appreciate this. And yeah, I'll let you go then. Yeah, thanks again for chatting to us on Source FM.
Thank you for having us, Ben.
Absolute pleasure. Thanks, gents. Bye then.
Bye.
Money! Hey, I just totally ruined it for you. Hope you enjoyed that. Anyway, of course, don't need to introduce that at all. I'm not even going to bother introducing that. You know for well what it was, right? That was dedicated to one Mr. Matt Raybould. Matt, hope it goes really well today. Thanks for messaging me about that particular tune for you. Okay, now I am delighted to say that it is now time to welcome the fantastic Dr. Lauren Brent to the show. Now, as you're listening to this, if you're finding this interesting, you want to know a bit more, you can actually. There's a number of places you can check more of Lauren's work out at. If you just Google Dr. Lauren Brent, you should find her page on the University of Exeter, her profile with further links to things that she's done. She's done a TED Talk you can check out. She's done a New Scientist article that you can read as well, all about her work and actually all about the things she's going to chat to us now on the show about. You can also follow her on Twitter. So I noticed she keeps her followers up to date on there. So you can follow her at LJN Brent. So do that if you fancy it. But for now, I think just offer a very, very warm welcome indeed to Lauren. Now, we're going to be playing a couple more tunes after this as well, so don't worry too much. If this kind of inspires you for a particular song choice, Lauren's going to have her own music request played at the end as well. It's absolutely fantastic tune. Very fitting, as we'll find out as well. But if you've got a particular one that you'd like me to close the show up on, well, I'd be happy to. Just get it to me. Okay, please welcome the fantastic Dr. Lauren Brent. I was going to start, if you don't mind, with because I caught your TED Talk, which is fantastic, and I think one of the quotes from that you kind of started out that talk by saying was really nice, and I was hoping to kind of use that to kick off the discussion today, if you don't mind. And that was basically that being a biologist, you're really fundamentally interested in the human condition, but you went on to explain that really to understand more about how we're different to other animals, it helps to, of course, understand how we're the same. Thinking about the kind of psychology of humans versus animals and things, you've done a load of really, really interesting kind of crossover work. A lot of work in primates, for instance, and things. I'll just hand over straight to you, I guess. And you can just kind of take it away, really, and just give a little background to what you're interested in.
As someone who works in primates, that crossover just happens a bit naturally and organically. Sure. And even that's the reason that I did a regular biology degree and decided I wanted to study behavior, the evolution of behavior. And for me, I chose to start off by working in primates because I was interested in human psychological processes and just how weird we are as a species, and wanted to understand that from an evolutionary perspective. And so if you're interested in social processes in particular, that really caught my eye. I've always pondered how and why we're so cooperative, how and why we have these intense relationships with unrelated individuals. It just made sense to start looking at that in other primates. And then the field of primatology does just lend itself to that kind of crossover and those kind of questions because, of course, as a member of the primate clade, we're one of the case examples of what do primates do? Well, humans are primates, and so we do a lot of kooky things. And there are links to what some of our primate relatives do. A lot of similarities that over the years, the history of primatology is speckled with these cases of we hold up humans to this sort of standard, and we have these cases of it's man the toolmaker, other animals make tools.
Yes.
Oh, it's man, the great cooperator. Oh, well, other animals also have high levels of cooperation. So across the history of primatology of the last 60 years it's existed, really, we've just gone through this exercise of trying to figure out human uniqueness and pretty much failing at every go. But for me as an evolutionary biologist, that's fascinating because it's really difficult to understand the evolution of a single species within itself. If you only have that as a case study, there's very limited things that you can actually learn about the evolution of that animal by just looking at that animal. You pretty much always have to step out and look at related animals, compare them, contrast them, to be able to understand how we got to where we got to.
I suppose everyone kind of has their own kind of non-scientific views of what friends are, right? But I think it's just really interesting to kind of step back and think, okay, scientifically, why do I need these friends? I mean, your whole kind of work focused around friendships. I guess that might sort of come as some surprise to some people.
Yeah, and it is surprising even within the academic world, the scientific world. People haven't thought about friendships from not even evolutionary, but biological perspective for many, many years. It's really only the last 15 years or so that human sociologists and psychologists, behavioral ecologists and evolutionary biologists like myself have turned to, anthropologists also have turned to trying to pick apart this thing that is fundamental to our lives that we all do and spend a lot of time and energy doing from a biological perspective. So there's been in the past a lot of sociological and psychological work looking at social relationships, of course, but really from doing it from the standpoint of what hormones underpin those relationships, what parts of the brain are involved in the formation and maintenance of those relationships, what decisions are we making, and then also my real favorite, what are the evolutionary consequences of these relationships? What is their function? Why do we have them? Why did they arise in evolutionary time in ourselves and in other species that have things that you might call friendships? Those questions are all really new. So it's a really fantastic area to work in because the sky is sort of the limit. It's an open playground at the moment because so little has been done, and there's real opportunity to even formulate those questions, which is just pretty fun as a scientist.
When we're thinking about what other animals can have friendships, and you kind of look at friendships in other animals elsewhere in the animal kingdom, things like that, I guess, might immediately evoke thoughts about theories of minds. What's actually necessary in order to establish a friendship in the first place? Does it require, for instance, that things like theory of minds and the ability of organisms like primates, for instance, to have these kind of thoughts? Or
I don't think it requires it. So one of the main requirements is that you have to recognize individuals as individuals. So that's very basic thing that you need in order to form friendships. But of course, a lot of animals can do that, and we know that they can do that. Everything from a wasp can recognize another wasp purely based on its facial features, which is incredible to think about. But we know now that that's very much true. And of course the primates, fairly universally, we have no indication that they can't recognize others based on not just what they look like, so their facial features, but their voices. So they recognize each other based on vocal calls alone. They don't even have to see each other. Similar to how, if you pick up the phone and you hear your friend's voice, you know instantly who it is without having, read on the phone who's calling. So on that level, they recognize others, which is really step one to forming relationships with other individuals. So they can definitely do that. Lots of animals live in groups with not only their close kin, but also unrelated individuals. So I'm a bit agnostic on whether your friends have to be non-related to you or whether you can be friends with your family members. I think actually both are fine. In terms of definitions, but lots of animals do live in mixed relatedness groups, close relatives there, and then completely unrelated individuals that they form social relationships with. So sort of the fodder for friendship is there in a lot of species that live in social groups. And then in terms of more complicated cognitive processes, I'm not sure that theory of mind is necessary. It certainly colors how we interact with each other, because we have information about what other people might be thinking or feeling what they might know, what they don't know. I don't think it's necessary to form a friendship. It definitely, as I said, colors how we form friendships, but I don't think...
Sort of like extra information that could be used to inform a friendship.
Influence how you interact with each other and how cooperation works and all these types of things. But in terms of just having partners who you interact with in a friendly way, a pro-social or collaborative way, you don't necessarily need to know what they know or what they're thinking about, have information on. There are much simpler mechanisms that have to do with how you're using space and who you're familiar with because you've been in the same group for an amount of time or you have other individuals in common. We do know that they have information about the relationships between others. So if I'm a female baboon, I have a dominance rank. I know my rank relative to others, but I also know their rank relative to each other, independent of how they relate to me. And you know that about who's related to each other too. So I'll look over in my baboon group, see two females. I'll be like, well, that's a mother-daughter pair. I have that information as a baboon. So there are a lot of similarities in terms of that kind of stuff. And it doesn't necessarily we don't need to evoke more complicated cognitive processes for those relationships to exist and to persist and to even have potentially the same function as our relationships have.
As opposed to an outsider from the field, it sounds as well, I don't know whether this is true at all, but whether your kind of research infringes a little bit into the area of altruism and things like that as well. I don't know whether friendship can be viewed as sort of like this long-term altruism, and you can think of different reasons for it.
It's one of the main mysteries that still persists in evolutionary biology. What maintains cooperation in a system, because a lot of species, ourselves included, are very cooperative. We might be the most cooperative animal in the world, and how that's maintained, because you're paying a cost to help someone else out, you have to get a return on your investment for that to evolve. How do those returns on investment come about? Is it really a tit-for-tat kind of exchange? I do you a favor, a few days later you return the favor, either in kind or sort of equal quality. A lot of people, if you talk to people about how friendship works and you propose this to them, that maybe it's based on this kind of very economical exchange of keeping track of they get really angry. They feel like that's not at all how friendship works. In fact, I'm offended if, and everyone will have experienced this, you go to the pub with a friend, well, someone you think is a friend, and if they insist on paying for their drink, you offered to buy them a pint and they say, no, I'll pay for mine and you pay for yours, that's almost like a sign that we aren't friends, right? So people get really, when it comes to kind of the economic processes that underlie these friendships, people have really strong feelings about how they think that works in themselves. And so that's really interesting, because there has to be a solution, there has to be an answer, how you get returns on these investments. And I agree that it doesn't have to be a short-term exchange. It can be a long-term thing. You develop these relationships, and down the line, if you end up in real trouble, who helps you out? It's your friends. That moment might never arise, but those moments are so potentially important for your survival, for your success as an individual, of that having that kind of security in the form of these social relationships is important enough that you maintain it, even though it might never come to pass. You need to rely on your friends for that big of an exchange. It's one possible hypothesis that's out there. It's really hard to test in any system, people or otherwise. But there are other potentials out there that are more generalized. So just generally, individuals might cooperate because they're in a cooperative world and everybody is kind of paying forward what they've received in sort of you hold a door open for someone, it makes them more likely to hold the door open for the next person that's coming through, sort of that kind of system. Friendships could also be based on that. But you just happen to be bumping into the same people, the same individuals, for reasons of you work in the same place, you're an animal, and you access the same resources. So that's a bit more abstract, and I think that doesn't really fit as well with how humans think their friendships work, but it doesn't mean it's not true. It's always possible that we've told ourselves a bit of a story about how things work, but actually the story is something that is simpler, that we just see as being this complicated thing that involves trading and helping, and
Sure.
But actually it's more diffuse, and there's not very warm and fuzzy structure that has to do with, well, you're just in the same place at the same time, so you're nice to each other a lot, and then you end up friends, but it's not more meaningful or complicated than that. So there are a lot of possibilities out there. They are very difficult things to test. People, myself included, are working on trying to pull those potential hypotheses apart, but these are also very new ideas that they're in my head. They're in the literature in bits and pieces, but not very formally expressed or talked about. But I think we'll see in the next 5-10 years these questions really come to head and really start to be addressed. People, of course, have focused on the evolution of cooperation for years and years in evolutionary biology, but in terms of pinning down how that relates to these things we call friendships is a bit more diffuse. But as we start to appreciate the importance of friendships, I mean, we have a minister for loneliness now, right? This all feeds into people paying attention to this as a biological process. I think research will start to really come into its own, and we'll start to get not maybe answers to these questions, but perhaps at least a bit more information about how these things are working.
In humans, could you kind of go further and kind of add extra information there, such as things like quality of friendships and things like that, and even the inverse, enemies and things like that? So you could have long-standing relationships with someone that are negative instead of positive, and like enemies, but you could also have kind of a really good friend, best friend, and not so good friend, and acquaintance.
There's some research, and you really need to stick with humans only, but there's definitely some research in human psychology and sociology and anthropology that has tried to define, quantify different types of friendships, because of course, not all our friendships are the same. Some of them are based on long-term interaction because we have a lot of things in common. Others are friendships, maybe, you play football on a Friday night together, but then you don't see each other any other, but those are still people you consider, you would name as a friend. If I were to ask you to list all your friends, you might name some of those individuals. So there are different types of friends. We struggle to define friendship full stop as a general concept.
Sure, yeah.
What is it? It's one of those things we all feel like we know what it is, but if I actually asked you to write down a definition, you would really struggle to do it. But there are some clever sociologists, anthropologists who are trying to go a step further even, and at least descriptively say the different types of friendships that exist in current human societies. You can do the same in something like a non-human primate. You can say, well, who do you tolerate at a food source versus who do you spend time resting in the shade with? Whose kids play with your kids? Really similar to maybe some of the questions we would ask in humans. So you can define friendships based on different types of activities individuals engage in. But then the question arises, well, is there an optimal set of friendship types? Is it not just about having a lot of friends or a few really good friends? Is it actually about the composition of, well, you have a few of this, type A friends, a few type B friends. Ideally, you should have a type C friend in there if you really want to optimize your social health and well-being. That might be, but these are, again, just questions people are starting to ask and think about and tackle those definitions and avoid the circularity of sort of, well, it exists and therefore I've gone back and defined it, but probably I should start with the definition and then see. So it's definitely an area that a lot of people are thinking about and trying to delve into further, because it is even that it's such a new field that even defining friendship in a consistent way that everyone agrees on is we're not quite there yet.
Yes, sure.
Yeah.
That sounds like a rapidly expanding area then, and definitely people should keep an eye on it, I suppose, and just listen out for developments, which I'm sure will come through fast.
Yeah, I mean, it's important. We spend a lot of our time thinking about our friends.
Exactly.
Grieving if we lose one, investing in those relationships, and we know it matters for our health, our well-being. How long you live is better predicted by how integrated you are into society than, you know, being a smoker.
Yeah.
We now know that is true, at least in current human societies. And so now figuring out what is it about those friends, why do we need them, right? How are they influencing our health to such a great extent? How and why is that happening? And why does that also happen in other animals? Those are big questions, because we won't really understand and be able to, say, intervene in human societies to fix some of those problems unless we really understand what's going on and why those relationships exist in the first place.
That's brilliant. Well, Lauren, thanks so much for your time. I'll begin to let you go, just so I don't keep you for too long. But this is going to be a bit of a mean question now. You don't have to answer it.
I know.
But I'm going to leave this on as evidence. And this is very simple. It's if you have any song requests that I could play for you. Any favourite songs?
I've been warned about this. We do have a field site favourite song, which is a bit morbid, because whenever I recognise a lot of monkeys as individuals.
Sure.
The same way I recognise people just on sight by their facial features, even from their gait. I can spot a monkey a few hundred meters away. That's so and so walking past.
That's Alan.
That's Alan over there. You know, I saw him yesterday. He was having a bit of a bad time. So we know a lot of monkeys. Some monkeys I've known for 15 years, which is a really crazy thing. But anyway, so they pass away every now and then of natural causes, as you do once you get to be an old lady monkey, right? You're sort of in your late 20s. So on the field site, whenever one of our sort of favorite, most charismatic individuals dies, we pass around to each other on the web, "Monkey Gone to Heaven" by the Pixies. So that would be my song request.
Yeah, I think that's perfect. I suppose as come up one thing which people will be absolutely fascinated with. Won't make you explain too much about this, because obviously I've kept you for long enough already. But in terms of your kind of actual, you know, day-to-day research when you're out there in the field, it's fascinating. A lot of people have probably absolutely no idea what that's like. You know, saying just being able to recognise, you know, apes from far away and based on how they're walking and stuff, and even what they look like. I bet most people probably really struggle to imagine that.
I train a lot of students and research assistants, as you can imagine, to do just that. They need to be able to do it, to record data. We basically follow an individual around for a set period of time and write down everything that they've done and who they've interacted with. So we need to recognize them on site as individuals. So I train a lot of students, research assistants, to do that. And the first week is basically spent with them looking at me and going, "Lauren, you're insane. All these monkeys look exactly the same. Yeah, I can tell male from female, but otherwise they do not look any different from each other." And then slowly they start to pick up that, okay, that one's got a bit of a scar here. And that one's a bit, you know, on the heavy side. And they start to pick up the more obvious differences. And eventually it gets to a point where and I'm actually really bad at training people, because I'll say, "That's so-and-so," and they'll say, "Right, well, what are her defining characteristics? How do I distinguish that monkey from another one?" And I go, "Well, she just looks like herself," which is not what they want to hear. They want me to say, "Well, she's got big ears and, you know, really heavy set brow," and I'm just like, "No, there's nothing. She just really looks like herself." And they look at me like, but at about 3 weeks in, they go, "She does just look like herself. I see it now."
Brilliant, that moment of revelation. It is Alan, I see.
Alan looks like Alan, it's true.
Well, Lauren, thank you very much indeed for joining us.
All right, it's been a pleasure.
Well, thank you very much again to Dr. Lauren Brent for popping on the show with us. And that is it from me today. Got a couple more song requests to fit in before we do finally close up, though. So don't you worry. And do stay tuned to the source, please. Please. DJ Steve coming up next, actually. You'll be pleased to know. So thank you very much indeed to all of my very special guests today. Thanks to Colin Jackson. Absolute pleasure having such a marvellous athlete on the show with us today. Thank you to Makin, the pharmacist. Thanks to Dion Dublin, of course, football star. Thanks to Dr. Lauren Brent, who we heard from just now, and thanks to Richard Watcham, the Director of Commissioning at UKTV. And I'm not so sure whether he liked my idea that much, but we'll see. Maybe it'll be released, you know, coming a couple of years. It'll be on screen. I'll be like, yeah, I knew it. Or probably not, actually. Coming up next time, then, we didn't manage to fit on this fantastic interview with Robert Llewellyn, of course, from Red Dwarf. I'll get that on straight away next week, alongside Robert Cheesewright, who is a Smart Energy GB representative. I think that's a really interesting interview all about smart energy and electric cars. So we're talking about kind of, you know, a greener future for Britain. We'll talk about that next week. But that is it, as I said, for this time. And thank you very much indeed to all of you for tuning in. Thanks for joining me this morning. And that's the only reason we do this on The Source, yeah, because of you. Thanks for tuning in.